After a number of impressive TWS releases, the Wave Pro are Earfun's first stab at a set of ANC over-ear headphones. The MSRP on these is $79.99, but I've seen them drop as low as $59.99 recently, which is all the more impressive when you consider that you're getting high-res audio through support for the LDAC codec, up to 45 dB hybrid active noise cancellation, multipoint connectivity, a low latency gaming mode, and an advertised up to 80 hours battery life. In this review, as always, we're going to go through the fit and comfort and the build quality, but you're also going to hear binaural sound tests so you can judge for yourself how effective the active noise cancellation is, as well as hear their sound signature. Better still, I'm giving you a full comparison to some of its competitors at around a similar price, namely the SoundPEATS Space, Edifier W820NB+, and a couple of the budget options, the QCY-H3 and Haylou S30. And this core samples in real life busy locations, no waving a fan around or simulated background noise, and better still, you don't have to subscribe to my Patreon to hear the whole thing. Accessories with budget headphones around this sort of price are usually few and far between, but Earfun are giving you quite a bit in the box. You're getting a USB A to C charge cable as well as an auxiliary cable, as you can use these headphones in wired mode. And when I say use, I should probably add only in case of emergency, because you lose stuff like active noise cancellation and the mics, and the sound becomes quite muffled compared to how it usually sounds. So think of this more as an added bonus when your battery runs out, rather than a viable alternative. You also get a nice hard shell case with a pocket so you can store both the cables and the headphones. When it comes to the build quality, there's not much separating the Earfun and practically every other set of sub 100 Bluetooth headphones on the market. Like all of their competition at this price, they're predominantly plastic in construction, with some memory foam padding on the headband and around the ear cups. The hinges at the bottom of the headband are plastic and they allow the headphones to be folded up quite tightly. If you've watched my review of the Edifier W820NB+, you'll know that isn't necessarily a given. Overall, the Earfun do feel quite durable and you don't get that horrible creaking sound that you hear on some models when you're folding them up. And despite being all plastic in construction, the Earfun top the charts compared to its competitors when it comes to build quality. They feel more durable than the rest of them, especially the Edifier W820NB+, which is really rattly and has lots of sharp edges. On either side of the headband, you've got quite a bit of extension as well, in total 11 clicks. Unfortunately, it is a little bit stiff, so you might find it difficult to adjust it single-handedly on the move. The ear cups feature faux protein leather cushioning that is a little bit softer than most of their competition, but still very comfortable. The comfort is helped by the large openings, which mean that it's not pressing on any section of your ears, but it can mean that your ears get a little bit sweaty in there. And those larger than average openings, certainly compared to their competition, mean if your ears are on the bigger side, you're probably more likely to find the Wave Pro comfortable. It's these features, plus the lower than average clamping force, that mean that the Wave Pro is probably a safe bet when it comes to comfort. There are some minor drawbacks that are worth considering though. They can feel a little bit tight around your neck when you don't have them on your ears. And whether you have them flat like this or switch it round to its normal orientation, you can see either way it's still tight around the neck, and it would have the added drawback of occasionally yanking a hair from my neck, causing untold pain. But aside those very minor quibbles and the ear cups getting a little bit sweaty when you use them for a prolonged period of time, the Earfun still score very well when it comes to comfort. They're only very marginally behind the Haylou S30, which won't yank your beard out and don't get quite so sweaty. However, the ear cup openings are slightly narrower, so if your ears are on the bigger side, then they may not work for you. The Edifier are also pretty comfy with the plushest ear cups and headband out of all of them. For bigger heads though, that clamping force might just be a little bit too tight. The SoundPEATS Space would probably top the charts if it wasn't for the openings being so slim. I found these were the most comfortable in the short term, but after a few hours they'd start to ache my ears. On the QCY, the clamping force is a little bit tighter, so definitely better suited to females and teenagers and the like, not for big heads like mine. The cushioning isn't quite as good as the others as well. You'll see that when you press it down, there's just a little bit too much play in the remaining material. The controls are all on the right cup, with the power button located at the back, volume buttons in the middle, and a noise cancellation button at the front. There's also a jack socket on this cup and an LED to indicate that the headphones have been switched on, for example. And if I had any frustrations with the controls, it's that you have to press that power button for quite some time before it actually switches them on. Having all the buttons on the right cup is the norm, and it's great if you're right-handed. If you're left-handed, not so much. The buttons on the Earfun have got good tactility as well, much better than the horrible thin ones on the SoundPEATS Space. And there's one thing that the Earfun can do that none of the others can, and that is actually customize the button presses. Head down to customize controls within the Earfun app, and you can tailor what the volume buttons do, with the default being short press to change volume and long press to cycle through tracks. And you can modify the same for the NC button as well. The only thing I would have liked to have seen extra that Earfun haven't included would have been the ability to customize which ANC modes you toggle through when you press the ANC button. Typically, I'll only use ANC on or transparency, not ANC off, and you can't remove this. I also would have liked to have added wind noise reduction. Again, you can't include that. You have to go into the app and select it. In total, you've got 2 strength settings, comfort and strong. You've also got wind noise reduction mode, which actually does work pretty well, and ambient mode, which we'll talk a little bit more about later on. It would have been nice to have seen a slider bar to adjust the level of strength here. Unfortunately, it doesn't have it. Next up, I've included a binaural sample in a real life location. I'm sat outside a cafe, so you've got a mixture of different sounds coming through. The noise of vehicles, as it's quite a busy road, and also the noise of indistinct chatter from people nearby. As always, it's better to listen to these with your headphones on.
Noise cancelling. Noise cancellation. ANC on. ANC on.
So as you heard there, the Wave Pro actually fared pretty well when it comes to noise reduction strength, only falling short overall of the Edifier W820NB+. The QCY-H3 and the SoundPEATS Space could sometimes seem a little bit more effective at those lower frequency sounds. However, the Earfun give you a more consistent noise reduction across the full frequency range. When it comes to transparency, the tables do turn a little bit, although the Earfun still perform really well. But I'll let you be the judge. Here's another binaural sample.
Ambient sound. Pass through. Ambient sound.
I think the SoundPEATS Space there were the standouts, with voices coming through very clearly and you could actually hear what was being said. The QCY-H3 lets the most amount of noise through, but it also puts plenty of white noise on top, so being able to discern voices is a little bit trickier. The Edifier and Haylou probably let the least through, but it's the most natural sounding and you could hear voices quite clearly with both of these clips. The Earfun again did very well, and again it's a natural sounding transparency mode without the addition of white noise. I wouldn't say there's necessarily a standout here, and it does come down to personal preference, but I felt the Earfun at least stands its ground with the competition. Looking at the audio, as we mentioned in the intro, the Wave Pro support high-res audio courtesy of the LDAC codec, which you activate in the Earfun app. This and their 40mm DLC dynamic drivers combine to deliver a sound signature that you're going to hear for yourself, courtesy of this binaural sample. So only a short clip, but certainly long enough for you to discern all of the obvious traits about the Earfun Wave Pro's sound signature. Like most budget wireless headphones, the default sound signature is going to be with ANC on. You are going to get a little bit of EQ shift, and not for the better when you switch it off. You've certainly got some sub-bass rumble in there, and the bass is fairly impactful, although not overpowering. Earfun have cut a lot of fat out of the lower mid-range, which solves the problem that they had with their Air Pro 3 sounding a bit too congested. It takes a bit of the note weight away from male vocals in particular, although the mid-range does sound cleaner overall. Female vocals are more forward, although there's nothing really in the way of sibilance. And with its rolled off trebles, this definitely contributes to a more laid back, non-fatiguing sort of sound. When I reviewed their Air Pro 3, there was loads of bass, so I was kind of expecting that sort of sound signature. But if you're a bass head, you'll probably actually prefer the SoundPEATS Space, which has more impact and a thicker note weight. The Earfun align themselves a little bit more to the W820NB, although the latter have less sub-bass and sound a little bit more open. If you want to hear what these other headphones sound like, there should be a link appearing up there right about now, which will take you to my binaural sound test comparison video. There's no talking, just audio clips, a very useful resource if you're looking for a particular sound signature. If you want to tweak the sound, Earfun have given you loads of customization options through the Earfun Equalizer section of the app. There are a ton of different preset options. There's a custom EQ with 10 bands, and you can run a hearing test to generate a bespoke sound. All of these profiles can be saved. The Wave Pro feature 5 mics and AI environmental noise reduction to improve the quality of your voice calls. This is how they sound when you're in a quiet room and there's no ambient noise going on around you. But in a moment, you're going to hear some real life call samples in busy indoor and outdoor locations, so you can judge how effective that noise reduction is. So first up, we're testing the Earfun Wave Pro for outdoor call quality. It's a weekend here in the UK, and I'm doing the walk from the train station through to the town centre, so kind of reflective of what you could expect if you need to make or take a call on the daily commute. It's a warm day in the UK, as you can see, but we had a fair bit of wind come through right at the beginning. You can probably hear other voices as well, or you may not be able to hear them. And you've got traffic noises coming through as well. I'm near a busy intersection,
So there's quite a few vehicles coming past right now. This should be a pretty clear indication of how they're going to perform on your calls on the daily commute. So we're testing the Earfun Wave Pro and how they perform on your calls in a busy indoor environment. I'm in a coffee shop, the usual coffee shop that I test all my headphones and earbuds in. You've got the sound of industry chatter from groups of people nearby. You've got the sound of the baristas making coffee, music as well. So lots of different types of sounds that can complicate your call. So hopefully this is a true reflection of how you can expect it to perform in a busy indoor scene.
Overall, I think that the Wave Pro equipped itself pretty well in both the busy indoor and outdoor scenes, removing those ambient sounds and elevating your voice quite clearly. I did notice a little bit of occlusion while I was talking, not a huge amount, but it was noticeable, and I wasn't able to change the ANC modes whilst on a call. So if you, like me, are stuck with ANC on, you might have some challenges communicating. But overall, the call experience is pretty good. Battery life on the Wave Pro is pretty good as well, although it did fall a bit short of the advertised. I got 63 hours playtime with ANC switched off and around 44 with ANC switched on. They're quite loud, so this was around 60% volume and taking a few calls as well. That puts them around mid-table compared to their competition, falling some way short of the battery monster that is the SoundPEATS Space. You can get an extra 5 hours playtime from 5 minutes plugged in though, which is seriously impressive. The app features some other pretty cool features. You can activate gaming mode, which will reduce your latency even further. I'm not a gamer, but it certainly did bring lip synchronization to videos. You can also set up multi-point connectivity, and you've even got a device list as well. Unfortunately, you only get the address rather than the name of the product that you're connected to. But even so, connecting and disconnecting within the app is actually very straightforward. And it's convenience really that will probably have you coming back to the Wave Pro, because as you've seen, whilst they don't stand out or are outstanding in any particular area, they just do all of the basics really well. The ergonomics are decent, and the ANC and transparency modes are going to be suitable for pretty much every type of scenario you're going to face. The sound is certainly good enough, and there's lots of customization through the Earfun app. Meanwhile, their multi-point connectivity and decent call quality make them suitable for office use as well. As I mentioned in the intro, you can probably pick these up for around £59 on Amazon UK. I think that represents a really good deal given the package that you're getting, including that hard case. You've seen and heard how the Wave Pro fares compared to a lot of different models of headphones here. And whilst there isn't an outright best, hopefully this has given you a flavour for what is going to be the right choice for you. Do you own the Wave Pro? What do you think of them? Do leave your comments in the comments section below. If you enjoyed the video or found it useful, or both, or neither, please do give the video a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. For now, it's ReganCipher signing off.